name is David. I've been driving long haul for 15 years. Every highway in the Southwest, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico. I've seen dust storms that black out the sun. I've seen accidents that made me pull over and cry. I've seen things I can't explain. But nothing prepared me for Highway 491. You might know it by its old name, Highway 666. They renamed it in 2003. Said it was because of driver confusion. But anyone who's driven through Navajo Nation knows the real reason. Too many accidents, too many disappearances, too many things reported on that road after dark. October 12th, 2023. I was hauling refrigerated freight from Gallup to Shiprock, New Mexico. Standard run, I'd done it maybe 40 times. The route cuts right through the heart of Navajo land, high desert, sacred country, country that's been holy and cursed for thousands of years. I grew up near the Riz. My mother was half Navajo. She told me the stories about Ye Naldoshi, the Skinwalkers, witches who wear the hides of animals, who run on all fours faster than any car, who can look into your eyes and know your name. I never believed her. I should have. It was 11:47 p.m. when I saw the first one. I was about 40 miles north of Gallup. Empty desert on both sides. No moon, just stars and my headlights cutting through absolute darkness. That's when I saw something running alongside my truck, in the scrubland, maybe 30 feet off the road, keeping pace. At first I thought it was a coyote, but it was too big, and it was matching my speed exactly. I was doing 70 miles per hour. I looked closer, tried to make out what it was in the darkness. It was running on all fours, but its movements were wrong, too fluid, too long, like something pretending to be an animal but not quite getting it right. Then it turned its head and looked at me. It had a human face, not a coyote face, not a wolf, a human face with human eyes, staring directly at me while running at 70 miles per hour on all fours. I hit the accelerator, pushed up to 80, 85. It stayed with me, effortlessly. Then I saw another one on the other side of the road, running parallel. Same thing, human face, animal body, moving like liquid shadow. Then a third one behind me, visible in my side mirror. I grabbed my CB radio, keyed it. Breaker, breaker, this is northbound 491. Anybody out there? I don't know what I've got, but I need someone to confirm they're seeing this. Over. Nothing but static. I tried again. Anybody on 491, please respond. I've got 3 animals running with my truck, moving at 85 miles per hour. Over. A voice came through. Old, male, Navajo accent. Brother, what mile marker are you at? I looked. Mile marker 62. Why? Can you see them? No, but I know what you're seeing. Listen to me carefully. Do not stop. Do not slow down. Do not make eye contact. And whatever you do, do not say their name. What name? What are they? The voice serious. You know what they are. Your mother told you, and they know you know. That's why they're following you. Pause. Realization. My mother. My Navajo mother who died 3 years ago, who was buried in Shiprock, where I was heading. Pause. Cold understanding. How do you know about my mother? Pause. The voice on the CB didn't answer, just static. Pause. I looked in my mirrors. There were 7 of them now, all running in formation around my truck, some on 2 legs, some on 4, all with human faces, all staring at me. Pause. Voice shaking. Then the one on my left, the closest one, opened its mouth and spoke in my mother's voice. Pause. David, pull over. I need to talk to you. Long pause. Horror. That's not how coyotes work. I was shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. The thing with my mother's voice kept pace beside my truck, running on all fours, human face twisted in something that might have been a smile. David, it's me. It's Mom. Please, pull over. I need you to pull over. Every instinct in my body was screaming at me to stop, to help, because it sounded like my mother, exactly like her. Same inflection, same tone, same way she'd say my name when she was worried. But I remembered what my mother, my real mother, had told me when I was a kid. They can sound like anyone, they can look like anyone, but they'll always ask you to stop, to come to them, to open the door. Never stop, never open the door. I pressed the accelerator harder, 90 miles per hour. My truck wasn't built for this. The whole cab was shaking. The things kept pace. More voices now, all of them talking. Some I recognized, some I didn't. My dispatcher, my ex-wife, my best friend from high school. All of them asking me to pull over. All of them needing to talk to me. Then I heard my daughter's voice. Daddy? Daddy, where are you? I'm scared. Please come get me. My daughter is 8 years old. She's safe at home in Albuquerque, 300 miles away. But hearing her voice, scared, calling for me, I almost stopped. My foot actually moved toward the brake. That's when something hit my truck. One of them had jumped onto my trailer. I could hear it, claws scratching on metal, moving forward toward my cab. I looked in my passenger side mirror. A face was looking back at me, pressed against my window. Human face, but the eyes were wrong. Too big, too yellow, pupils like a coyote. It smiled, showing teeth that were too sharp, too many. Then it raised one hand, not a paw, a hand with fingers and nails, and tapped on the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Open up, David. It's cold out here. Let me in. Please, Daddy. I'm scared. Let me in. I did the only thing I could think of. I started praying. My mother had taught me a protection prayer in Navajo. I barely remembered it, but I said it over and over, as loud as I could. The tapping stopped. The thing on my window pulled back. Its smile disappeared. All around my truck, the running figures slowed. Not stopped, just slowed, dropping back, falling behind. I kept praying, kept driving, 95 miles per hour through the darkness, and then I saw lights ahead. Shiprock, the town, streetlights, gas stations, buildings, civilization. But I remembered what my mother, my real mother, had told me when I was a kid. They can sound like anyone, they can look like anyone, but they'll always ask you to stop, to come to them, to open the door. Never stop, never open the door. The moment my truck crossed into the town limits, they vanished. All of them, gone, like they'd never been there. I pulled into the first parking lot I saw, a 7-Eleven, slammed on my brakes, put the truck in park, and sat there shaking for 20 minutes. Finally, I got out, walked around my truck, looking for, scratches, paw prints, proof. Nothing. My trailer was fine, no marks, no dents, no scratches, like nothing had ever touched it. But on my passenger side window, on the glass, there were handprints, small ones, like a child's hand, pressed against the window from the outside. I got back in my truck, called my ex-wife, made her put my daughter on the phone. "Daddy," she said, "why are you calling so late?" "I just needed to hear your voice, baby. Are you okay?"
I'm fine, Daddy. Are you okay? You sound weird. Yeah, I'm okay. I love you. Go back to sleep. I delivered my load the next morning, drove straight back to Albuquerque, didn't stop except for gas, and I never drove Highway 491 at night again. For weeks after, I tried to find out what happened. I asked around, talked to other drivers who ran routes through Navajo Nation. Most of them wouldn't talk about it, just shook their heads and changed the subject. But a few admitted they'd seen things too. Things that ran faster than they should. Things that looked almost human, but not quite. Things that knew their names. I started researching, reading everything I could find about Skinwalkers. According to Navajo tradition, they're witches, people who've turned to dark magic. They wear the skins of animals, coyotes, wolves, crows, foxes, and take on the animal's form. But they're not animals.
According to Navajo tradition, they're witches, people who've turned to dark magic. They wear the skins of animals, coyotes, wolves, crows, foxes, and take on the animal's form. But they're not animals, they're human, and they remember being human.
That's what makes them dangerous. They know how humans think, how humans act, what humans fear, and they use it. I never found out who the voice on the CB was, the one who warned me. I tried calling out on that channel dozens of times after, never got a response. But I think it was someone who knew, someone who'd driven that road before, someone who'd seen them and survived. Or maybe it was something else, some kind of guardian, a good spirit trying to balance out the bad ones. I don't know. The handprints on my window stayed for 3 days. I couldn't wash them off. I tried soap, glass cleaner, alcohol. Nothing worked. On the 4th day, they just faded, like they'd never been there. But I still see them sometimes, when the light hits the glass just right. Small handprints, child-sized, reaching toward me. I don't drive through Navajo Nation at night anymore. I don't care how much faster the route is. I don't care if it costs me time. I don't care if dispatch gets mad. Because Highway 491 isn't just a road. It's a boundary between our world and something older, something that was here long before we built highways across the desert. And at night, that boundary breaks down. If you ever have to drive that road after dark, listen to me. Don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't make eye contact with anything running beside you. And if you hear a voice calling your name, if it sounds like someone you love, if it begs you to pull over, keep driving, because it's not who you think it is. It's never who you think it is.
My name's Rebecca. I'm a park ranger at Carlsbad Caverns National Park. I've worked here for 7 years. In that time, I've led thousands of tours, through the big room, through the King's Palace, through miles of underground passages carved by water over millions of years. I love my job. I love these caves. They're beautiful, peaceful, a natural wonder. But there are parts of Carlsbad Caverns that we don't show tourists, parts that aren't on the maps, parts that we tell new rangers to avoid. And one passage in particular that we never talk about, until someone makes the mistake of going down there alone. July 8th, 2024. We had a new ranger named Chris, young guy, 24, fresh out of college with a degree in geology, eager, curious, wanted to explore every inch of the cave system. We tried to warn him. We should have tried harder. The caves at Carlsbad are massive. The big room alone is 4,000 feet long and 625 feet wide, the 8th largest cave chamber in the world. But that's just what we show tourists: the developed areas, the lit passages, the marked trails. Below that, beyond that, there are hundreds of miles of unmapped passages, tight crawlways, vertical drops, underground lakes, and deeper still, there are places we don't go. Chris kept asking about them, the unmapped areas, why we didn't explore them, why we didn't document them. That's what caves are for, he'd say, to be explored. The senior rangers would just shake their heads. Not all of them, they'd say. Some places you just leave alone. But Chris was young, confident. He'd been caving since he was a teenager. He thought he knew better. One night, his night off, he went down into the caves alone. He wasn't supposed to. Park rules say you never go alone. Always have a partner. Always tell someone where you're going. But Chris didn't tell anyone. He took his personal gear, helmet, lights, rope, water, and he went down into the unmapped sections. He wanted to find the echo chamber. That's what we call it, the echo chamber, though that's not its real name. It doesn't have a real name, because officially, it doesn't exist. It's an old story from the 1930s when the caves were first being developed for tourism. One of the early explorers found a chamber deep in the unmapped areas. A huge space, bigger than the big room. But there was something wrong with it. The acoustics. When you spoke, your voice would echo back, but wrong, distorted, like someone else was saying your words, but changing them slightly. The explorer tried calling out, "Hello?" and heard back, "Hello. Who's there? What do you want?" But he was alone. He tried again, "Is someone there?" and heard, "Yes, we're here. We've been here so long." He ran, made it out, marked the passage as dangerous on his map, but when they went back to find it, to seal it off, they couldn't. The passage wasn't there anymore. Or maybe they just couldn't find it. The caves shift sometimes, rock falls, new passages opening, old ones closing. But every few years, someone finds it again. And every few years, we have to go get them out. If we can. Chris went missing for 36 hours before we realized he was gone. He'd logged out of his shift, went home, but he must have come back after hours, snuck in through one of the service entrances. We only knew because another ranger found his car in the employee lot 2 days after his last shift, keys still in it. We organized a search party, 6 rangers, full cave rescue gear. We started with the developed areas, the tourist trails, the lit passages. Nothing. Then we moved to the unmapped sections, the tight passages, the crawlways. Still nothing. Finally, we went deeper, to the old passages, the ones from the 1930s maps, the ones we tell new rangers to avoid. That's when we heard it. An echo. Faint, distant, coming from somewhere deep below us. Not words, just sound, like someone calling out, but distorted. We followed it, down through a narrow chimney, across a breakdown chamber, into passages that hadn't been explored in decades. The echoes got louder, clearer, and then we heard the words. "Help, please, I can't find the way out. It keeps changing." But it wasn't Chris's voice. It was close, but not quite right.
Like someone impersonating him, but not getting the tone exactly correct. "Chris," I called out, "where are you?" And heard back, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" getting louder, more insistent. One of the senior rangers grabbed my arm. "Don't answer. he whispered. "Don't say anything else. It's not Chris." "What do you mean? We just heard him." "No, you heard the echo. It takes voices. It takes words. It uses them." "What does it want?" "To not be alone." "But we couldn't just leave. Chris was down there somewhere, lost, maybe hurt. We had to find him." We kept moving forward, toward the sound, but trying not to speak. The echoes continued, Chris's voice, calling for help, begging us to answer. Then other voices, different voices. An old man. "I've been here since 1932. Please, someone." A woman. "The walls keep moving. I can't find the entrance." A child. "Mommy, are you there?" All of them echoing through the darkness, all of them distorted, all of them wrong. We were about to turn back, to call for more help, better equipment, when we found him. Chris, sitting in a small chamber, back against the wall, helmet light still on, eyes open, but not responding. "Chris!" I ran toward him. "Chris, are you okay?" He didn't move, didn't blink, just stared straight ahead. I shook him. "Chris, can you hear me?" Finally, he turned his head, looked at me, and smiled. "I found it," he whispered. "The echo chamber. It's beautiful."
"You should see it." "Where? Where is it?" He pointed behind him to a dark passage leading down. "Right through there. It's so big, so empty. It just goes on forever and ever and ever." His voice was wrong, like he was reciting something, like it wasn't his words. We grabbed him, 2 rangers on each side, started pulling him toward the exit. He didn't resist, just kept smiling, kept whispering, "You should go see it. You should go down there. It's waiting. It's always waiting." As we pulled him away, I looked back at the passage he'd been pointing toward. It was massive. The beam of my helmet light couldn't reach the far wall, and in the darkness, I heard something. Echoes, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, all overlapping, all speaking at once, all saying the same thing. "Don't leave. Stay. Stay with us. Forever." We ran, dragged Chris through the passages, back up the chimney, into the developed areas, into the light. He was catatonic for 3 days, wouldn't speak, wouldn't eat, just stared at walls. On the 4th day, he started talking again, but he wasn't the same. He couldn't remember where he'd been, couldn't remember finding the echo chamber, couldn't remember anything after entering the caves. But sometimes, late at night, we'd find him standing near the cave entrances, just standing there, staring down into the darkness, listening. We had to let him go, for his own safety. He lives in Roswell now, works at a hardware store. He won't go underground, won't even go in a basement. But I've heard he still hears them sometimes, the echoes, calling him back. We sealed off the passage we found him in, filled it with concrete, put up warnings, removed it from all the maps. But I know it doesn't matter, because the echo chamber isn't a place. It's something that exists between places, in the spaces under the earth, in the gaps where light doesn't reach. And it's still down there, collecting voices, waiting for someone else to find it, waiting to not be alone. My name is Michael. I'm a sound engineer. I've worked on movies, albums, audio equipment design. I understand sound, frequency, acoustics. So when I moved to Taos, New Mexico in 2022, I thought I knew what I was dealing with. The Taos hum. Maybe you've heard of it. Since the early 1990s, residents of Taos have reported hearing a low-frequency humming sound, a rumble like a diesel engine idling in the distance. Except there's no engine, no source, nothing visible making the sound. Studies have been done, scientists, engineers, acoustic experts. Nobody's been able to explain it. Some people hear it, some don't. There's no pattern, no consistency. I moved to Taos to study it, to solve it, to figure out what was making this sound that had baffled people for 30 years. I should have left it alone, because the hum isn't a sound, it's a warning. I set up my equipment in March: professional-grade audio recording gear, frequency analyzers, seismographs, everything I needed to capture and measure low-frequency sounds. The first week, I heard nothing, just normal environmental sounds: wind, cars, birds. The second week, I started to hear it. Not during the day, only at night, between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. A low thrumming, 55 hertz, just at the edge of human hearing. I was excited. This was it. This was the hum, and I was recording it. I ran the frequency through my analysis software, tried to identify patterns, tried to trace the source. But here's what didn't make sense. The sound, it wasn't coming from any direction. When you hear a sound, your brain can tell you where it's coming from: left, right, above, below. That's how acoustics work. But the hum, it was coming from everywhere at once, and nowhere. Like it was coming from inside my head. I started talking to locals, people who'd lived in Taos for decades. Most of them had heard it. About 2% of the population reports hearing it consistently. But here's what scared me. The people who heard it the most, the ones who'd been hearing it for years, they all said the same thing. It gets worse. Not louder, not more frequent. Worse. "What do you mean worse?" I asked one woman. She was maybe 70, had lived in Taos her whole life. "At first, it's just a hum," she said, "just a sound. Annoying, but manageable. But if you keep listening, if you focus on it, if you try to understand it..." She stopped talking, just looked at me. "What happens?" I asked. "Well, it starts talking," she whispered. I laughed, thought she was messing with me, some kind of local legend, but she wasn't laughing. "I'm serious," she said. "The hum isn't just sound, it's communication. Something's trying to reach us from somewhere else." "Somewhere else? Like where?" She didn't answer. She just shook her head. "Stop investigating. Stop listening. Move away while you still can." I didn't listen. For 3 weeks, I recorded the hum every night, same time, same frequency, always between 2 and 4 a.m. I started sleeping with headphones, recording equipment next to my bed. The moment I heard the hum, I'd start recording. And I'd listen, really listen, trying to find patterns, variations, anything that might give me a clue. On the 21st night, something changed. The hum was the same, 55 hertz, low thrumming, but underneath it, I heard something else. Not a sound, not exactly, more like an absence of sound, like gaps in the frequency, spaces where the hum dropped out for just a fraction of a second. I isolated those gaps, amplified them, ran them through my analysis software. They were patterns, repeating patterns, like Morse code, but not Morse code, something else, something older. I worked all night, mapping the patterns, looking for repetition, for meaning. By dawn, I had it. The gaps weren't random, they were deliberate, they were binary, on and off, present and absent. And when I translated the pattern into text, I stopped breathing. It was a word, one word, repeating over and over. Open. Not help, not warning, not anything that made sense. Just open. Open what?
Open where? Open how? The next night, I listened again, recorded again. The pattern was different this time, more complex, more gaps. When I translated it, open the door. Third night, open the door beneath. Fourth night, open the door beneath the mountain.
Taos sits in a valley surrounded by mountains, the Sangre de Cristo Range, sacred mountains to the local Pueblo people. And beneath those mountains, there are caves, old mines, military tunnels from World War II, places the government sealed off, places they won't talk about. I started researching, looking for information about what was under the mountains, what was down there. Most of it was classified, or missing, or had been deliberately removed from public records. But I found rumors, stories from old-timers, from former military personnel who'd been stationed near Taos in the 1940s and 50s. They talked about tests, experiments, with sound, with frequency, trying to find ways to communicate with something they'd detected but couldn't see, something deep underground. The tests stopped in 1963. Nobody would say why. But that same year, that's when the first reports of the Taos hum started appearing in local newspapers. Something had been opened. Something had been listening.
And now it was trying to respond. And I had been listening back. The night I realized the truth, I stopped sleeping. Because the hum wasn't just at night anymore. I heard it during the day, while I was working, while I was driving, while I was eating. Constant, unending. That 55 hertz thrumming, boring into my skull. And underneath it, the message, getting longer, more detailed, more insistent. Open the door beneath the mountain. We have been waiting. We know you can hear us. We know you are listening. Open the door. I stopped going outside, stopped answering my phone, just sat in my apartment with my recording equipment, listening, recording, translating. The messages kept coming. You are close. The door is near you. You can find it. You must open it. I started having dreams, the same dream every night. I was standing in a tunnel, stone walls, carved by hand, ancient, leading down into darkness. And at the end of the tunnel, a door, metal, huge, with symbols carved into it that I didn't recognize. And behind the door, something was knocking. Not from our side, from the other side. Knock, knock, knock. Rhythmic, patient, eternal. I woke up on the floor of my apartment. My recording equipment smashed. My analysis software showing weeks of data I didn't remember collecting. All of it, the same message, over and over. Thousands of recordings, all saying the same thing. We know where you are. I packed my equipment, loaded my car, left Taos that same day. Didn't stop driving until I hit Santa Fe, 70 miles south. The hum stopped the moment I crossed the city limits. Just stopped, like someone had flipped a switch. But I still hear it sometimes, in quiet moments, late at night. Not the hum exactly, but an echo of it, a memory. And underneath, the message. Still there, still patient, still waiting. I destroyed all my recordings, all my research, everything. Threw my equipment in a dumpster, burned my notes. But I know it doesn't matter.
because they know I heard them. They know I was listening. And once you've listened, once you've truly heard them, they never let you go completely. I live in Albuquerque now, work for a radio station. Normal sounds, normal frequencies, music and talk shows and commercials. But I never work at night, and I never listen to anything below 100 hertz, because I know what's down there, in those low frequencies, in that space where human hearing ends and something else begins. The Taos hum isn't a mystery.
It's not an unexplained phenomenon. It's a signal. And something, somewhere beneath the mountains, is still broadcasting, still waiting for someone to answer, still trying to get someone, anyone, to open the door. If you ever visit Taos, if you ever hear the hum, don't listen. Don't try to understand it. Don't focus on it. Because once you start listening, once you start hearing the patterns, you become part of the signal, and they'll know where you are. They'll always know where you are. That was 18 months ago. I thought I'd escaped. Thought that by leaving Taos, by destroying my equipment, by refusing to listen, I'd broken the connection. I was wrong. 3 months after I left, I started getting emails from addresses I didn't recognize, random strings of letters and numbers. The emails were always the same. No subject line, no text, just an audio file attached. I deleted the first dozen without opening them, but they kept coming, one a day, every day, at exactly 3:33 a.m. Finally, curiosity got the better of me. I opened one. It was the hum, that same 55 hertz thrumming, but underneath, voices. Not the pattern I'd been decoding, actual voices, human voices, whispering, overlapping, all saying the same thing. Michael, we're waiting. Come back. Finish what you started. I deleted my email account, got a new phone number, new computer. The emails stopped, but other things started. I'd wake up to find my recording equipment turned on, equipment I'd thrown away, somehow back in my apartment, recording nothing but static and that low-frequency hum. I'd find notes written in my handwriting, but I didn't remember writing them. The door is at coordinates 36.4072 degrees N, 105.5731 degrees W. Depth, 2,847 feet. Sealed, March 15th, 1963. Waiting, forever. I looked up the coordinates. Long pause. They pointed to a location in the mountains north of Taos, on government land, inside a military-restricted area. I started researching the location, trying to find out what was there. What I found made everything worse. In 1947, the U.S. military built a research facility in those mountains, Project Resonance. Classified. No official documentation, no public records. But I found references in declassified documents, fragments,
Pieces. They were studying communication with what they called subterranean anomalies. They detected something deep underground, something that responded to certain frequencies, something that seemed intelligent. They tried to communicate with it, using sound, using frequency, and it worked. Whatever was down there, it answered back. The documents stop in March 1963. Project terminated, facility sealed, all personnel reassigned, no explanation given. But according to one document I found, heavily redacted, something had gone wrong.
Subject Delta 7 achieved full communication protocol. Entity expressed desire for physical emergence. Subject began exhibiting signs of redacted and attempted to redacted the primary seal. Subject terminated. All remaining personnel evacuated. Site sealed with redacted. They'd made contact, and whatever they contacted wanted out. So they sealed it, buried it, classified it, hoped it would stay buried. But it didn't stop. But the hum continued, because the door was sealed, but the signal never stopped. It just kept broadcasting, kept reaching out, kept looking for someone who could hear, someone who could listen, someone who could open the door. The pull. I tried to resist, tried to ignore it, tried to live a normal life. But the hum got louder. Not in my ears, in my head, in my thoughts, in my dreams. I'd be at work and suddenly hear it, broadcasting through the radio station's equipment, through speakers, through headphones, always that same message. Come back, finish it, open it. I started driving north without meaning to. I'd be heading to the grocery store and realize I was on the highway to Taos. I'd snap out of it, turn around, go home. But it kept happening. And each time, I got a little farther north before I realized what I was doing. Last week, I woke up in my car, parked on a dirt road in the mountains north of Taos. I had no memory of driving there, no memory of leaving Albuquerque. But I was there, at the coordinates. I got out of my car, looked around. There was nothing, just forest, mountains, rocks. But then I heard it, the hum, louder than I'd ever heard it, so loud it felt like my bones were vibrating. And I knew the door was close. I started walking, following the sound, following the feeling, through the trees, down a ravine, to an area where the rocks looked different, disturbed. There was a concrete structure, half buried, covered in dirt and vegetation, old military construction, and a steel door, rusted, with faded warning signs, authorized personnel only, project resonance restricted, do not enter. The door was sealed with chains, with locks, with welded steel plates. But underneath all of it, I could feel something, a vibration, a pulse. Knock, 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 coming from the other side. And in my head, the hum became words, clear, loud, undeniable. You found us, finally, after so long. Open it. Let us out. Let us see the sky again. We've been alone, so long in the dark. Please open it. We'll show you such things. We'll teach you. We'll share everything. Just open it. Open it. Open it. My hand was on the chains. I don't remember reaching for them, but I was there, ready to pull, to break the seal, to open the door. And then I saw something, scratched into the concrete, faint, old, almost invisible. Words, a message left by someone who'd been there before me. It lies. Don't listen. Don't open. For God's sake, don't open it. And underneath, in different handwriting, I almost did. I heard them too. They sound so human, so desperate, but they're not. There's something else, something that shouldn't be human. James K., March 23rd, 1963. James K., Subject Delta 7, the one who'd achieved full communication.
The one they'd terminated. He'd left a warning. His last act before they killed him, before they sealed this place forever. A warning for the next person who would hear the hum. For me. I let go of the chains, stepped back. The voice in my head screamed. Not words anymore, just sound, rage, fury, desperation. I ran. Back to my car, started the engine, drove south as fast as I could. The hum followed me for miles, screaming in my head, begging, threatening, promising. But eventually, it faded. Not gone, never gone, but quieter. Back to that low 55 hertz thrumming, back to background noise. I'm leaving New Mexico. Tomorrow. I've already packed, already quit my job, moving to Maine, as far from Taos as I can get. I don't know if it will work. I don't know if distance matters. But I have to try. Because I know now the Taos hum isn't trying to communicate with us. It's trying to escape. Something down there. Something that's been trapped since before humans built cities, maybe before humans existed at all. Something that learned our language, learned our frequencies, learned how to sound human, just enough to trick us into letting it out. If you're reading this, if you've heard about the Taos hum, if you're thinking about investigating it, don't. It's not a mystery worth solving. It's not a phenomenon worth studying. It's a warning, a boundary, a seal. And if enough people listen, if enough people hear the pattern, if enough people start trying to understand, eventually, someone will open that door. And whatever's been waiting in the dark for thousands of years will finally be free.
The hum is still there, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 55 hertz, low enough that most people can't hear it. But about 2% can. About 2% of the population in Taos reports hearing it. And that number is growing. Every year, more people hear it. Every year, more people start listening. Every year, more people start understanding the pattern. Someday, maybe soon, someone will finish what I started. Someone will go to those coordinates. Someone will find that door. And someone will open it. I just pray I'm far away when they do. Because the voice I heard, the thing that spoke to me through the hum, it wasn't alone down there. It said, "We, let us out. Let us see the sky." How many are down there? How long have they been waiting? And what will they do when they finally get free? I don't want to know, and neither do you.